So I'm here with Catherine from Burg from SimpliPhi, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about the company and the products, the awesome products that SimpliPhi make. So Catherine, tell me about SimpliPhi.
Well, we design and manufacture efficient, non-toxic, and enduring energy storage management systems that optimize and seamlessly integrate any renewable generation source, but in conjunction with or independent of the grid. Why this is important is without energy storage, renewable sources of power are intermittent and unreliable. But so too is the grid in emergency and blackout scenarios in which the centralized delivery of power breaks down. And we're seeing this play out all over the world currently. So our core value proposition is to change the relationship that people have with power, create access and energy security with solutions that don't require a choice between risk of fire or thermal runaway or overheating or failure, and instead have a simplified solution that allows access anytime, anywhere.
I'm curious by the name. It makes it sound like it's simple. Why?
Well, SimpliPhi is spelled P-H-I, and that represents the golden mean, which is really an immutable law found throughout nature, captured in a mathematical formulation. And it's all about component parts coming together to create balance and symmetry in whatever that integrated whole is. So the way we build our batteries internally is representative of that principle, the golden mean, but it's also representative of what we're trying to do in the industry around storage and access to power, and that is to bring balance and proportion to people's lives so that they have distributed on-site access power on their terms.
Wow, that's a great backstory to the name. I also get the sense that it's simple to use.
Yes, well, our proposition is really to create the most simple battery that can drop in as a lead acid replacement. We're very focused on eliminating toxic battery chemistries, whether that's the incumbent lead acid type of chemistry or the newer lithium ion cobalt based chemistries. And so if you can take one of our batteries, drop it in, and with minimal integration or challenges, it makes a huge difference, especially to the developing worlds where 1.2 billion people live without access to power. Very often they have failing, heavy, cumbersome lead acid batteries or diesel. And so we create integrated systems that simplify the whole proposition and create that access and security.
So what makes the battery a lead acid replacement?
The fact that it would be considered, lead acid batteries are dumb. They don't have any kind of BMS built into the battery. Now, our batteries have a BMS to provide balancing and surge protection, etc. But it does not have communications built in. And so the lead acid replacement proposition, you're looking for batteries that don't require communications or comms or software, which very often can add to added complication, expense, and failure. So our batteries currently and historically do not have software communication. We integrate with all the major manufacturers in the inverter charge controller industry on voltage and set points that are in the inverters. So through years of deployment since 2010, we've developed integration guides that help optimize the voltage curves for our battery and provide the longest cycle life, that 10,000 cycle, 10-year warranty.
So it sounds like if you've got an inverter that will work with the lead acid battery, it'll work with SimpliPhi.
Yes, and it will work without even going in and reprogramming the set points.
Wow.
So it won't optimize our battery as much as it could be because of our deeper cycling and faster rate of charge and discharge. But if there is someone who is replacing lead acid batteries and isn't trained in how to access set points in the inverter charge controller, it doesn't matter. They can drop our batteries in and they're still going to get the long life and the rapid charge and discharge rates.
Cool. Tell me a bit about the company, SimpliPhi. Do you make just this one battery?
Oh, no. On a platform technology going back to 2002. Our CTO, Stuart Lennox, was in the film movie industry.
Yes.
And his proposition was to replace the incumbent lead-acid, toxic, heavy, cumbersome, and often failing batteries, as well as displace diesel generators. If you're on a movie set in downtown Manhattan or the Amazon forest, the logistics and costs and noise and pollution of a diesel generator are prohibitive. So Stuart set out to work with the earliest lithium-ion chemistry, then the Panasonic lithium cobalt cells. So he began that in 2002 under Liberty Pack with mobile plug-and-play products to really extend access beyond the grid. In 2007, Stuart transitioned and became one of the first innovators then in the newer lithium ferrophosphate chemistry. And that chemistry is what eliminated the cobalt, risk of fire, and thermal runaway. And so in 2007, he was innovating these same products. I met him in 2009, and when I saw what he had created and that these power packs could be charged with wind, solar, generators, car, or the grid, in my mind it became the answer to creating access, again, to the 1.2 billion people that do not have access to power currently, or even the 1.4 that have intermittent access, and to scale that platform technology into residential and commercial systems.
Cool. I imagine location power for film, reliability and quality are just utmost.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky because the Army Corps, Marine Corps, and U.S. Army came to us in 2010 because they were having problems in Afghanistan and Iraq with lives being lost bringing fuel convoys to forward operating bases. And so then the Department of Defense had a very aggressive mandate to displace diesel generators, or certainly offset diesel, as well as replace lead-acid batteries that very often were dead on arrival because of their temperature sensitivity. So working with the Department of Defense, we were able to innovate very robust, high-performance batteries with a very long cycle life and that have the widest operating temperature in the industry, which then allows us to go into remote parts of the world and provide access to people otherwise that are marginalized because they don't have power.
Sounds like you've come with the two most demanding markets, film and defense.
Yes, well, people think of film as sexy.
Yep.
And it is. I mean, we provided the power for Avatar. 3D filming requires a lot of power. Conan's Moon and the Tron Legacy film series, those light suits have our power packs in them because they don't overheat and it didn't melt the plastic, the suits, and it was safe against the skin of the actors inside those suits.
Wow.
So it sounds sexy, but there's a lot of technology that goes into it, and failure is not an option. So it was a pretty rigorous standard to live up to as well.
So last question is, what do you see the Australian storage market developing into? It's interesting to see so many foreign companies coming into Australia with their products. What brings them here?
Well, what brings us here is the fact that we do have a very robust battery that eliminates that cobalt. So the customers that we work with don't want to have to make tough decisions between energy security and safety. We eliminate that proposition. There are vast territories in Australia and New Zealand that have very hot climates, and so our batteries are very well suited. If you have a battery like the standard lithium cobalt NMC batteries and you're installing it in a hot climate, you're going to have to build in ventilation and cooling. And so the cost at the point of installation and the inefficiency in the system itself adds up, especially over time when you think about the levelized cost of energy. So what we offer is something that is very simple, it's cost effective, it's enduring, it lasts a long time, and eliminates tough choices between security, energy security, and safety.
So SimpliPhi batteries can meet some of the environmental challenges that Australia presents in terms of high temperature.
High temperature, and then also because, again, going back to the Marine Corps, we have blurred the line between what is often thought of as an energy battery and a power battery. So I think you're familiar with our 60 amp standard residential small commercial batteries, but we have in the 2.6 battery and the 3.4 higher amperage. 2.6 actually comes as a 250 amp battery that can discharge in a sustained 10 to 20 minutes without overheating, shutting down, or risk of fire. So the 2.6 high output is a very robust battery that can survive in hot climates, but also very harsh use cases for peak shaving and demand charge management and other uses where you need an enormous amount of power very quickly.
I might just get you to give the specs on these two batteries as we're looking at them. So the one on the right.
Yes, so this form factor is known as 2.6 kilowatt hour battery, and as I was saying, it comes in a standard 60 amp battery, 2.6 being 2,600 watt hours, and it also comes in a 250 amp form factor for higher output.
Wow.
And so it's a very robust, yes. So effectively you can get double, triple the amount of power out of this battery in a sustained 10-minute period because of that rapid discharge rate.
And what's the battery voltage?
So this battery comes in, well, we actually 12, 24, and 48 volts.
Okay, various battery voltages.
Yes. And
a
then
larger unit?
This unit is a 3.4, so kilowatt hour. It actually has 4,100 watt hours. And this also comes in, well, typically we make this model in 24 and 48 volts. And this also comes in the standard 60 amp, and it also has a higher output model of 160 amps. Very often for off-grid systems, the higher amperage of the 3.4 model is very popular because of unaccounted for unexpected loads in an off-grid, and so you want a higher amperage to create that security.
And I believe they have quite an impressive cycle life.
Yes, so we warranty 10,000 cycles or 10 years.
Wow.
And again, we can do that and know that because Stuart Lennox began building these systems in 2002 around mobile plug and play. Those systems are still being used in the film and movie industry from 2002. And so we do warranty these units for 10 years, 10,000 cycles at 80% end of life. So we hold to that industry standard.
That's pretty impressive. There's not many companies who've been making lithium batteries and selling them for 15 years and having to honour those warranties that they've offered. So thank you very much, Catherine.
Oh, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it.
No worries.